Mahārāja Vishnupāda Shatarashatashmar Bhaktivedānta Vaman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nitilapa Vishtam Vishnupāda Shatarashatashmar Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. Nitilapa Vishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Bhakshadas Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Nitilapa Vishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitilapa Vishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Patadash Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Paramandala Vrajamandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishek Pradatta Giriraj Maharaj Shri Radha Kunya Shama Kunya ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Dandavat Pranam, everybody. The same thing's happening now, which happened before. It's asking my permission to share my screen. So now I'm giving it permission. Why does it keep on doing that now? Oh my god. Shoot. God, guys, could you, I'm gonna just leave and come right back. I think I have to start a new stream though. So, oh shoot, I don't want to do that again. Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna do what I did last time this happened. I'm going to get on a different browser. I'm going to use Safari. I don't know why this happens though. It's so strange. It's a new thing. Maybe there's some new privacy requirements somewhere. Okay. Allow. Enter studio. Okay, now I'm going to be on a second time. You're going to see 2 of me here. Okay, now I'm going to try and close this and let's see if it continues. This is a test. It might stop, just letting you know. All right, is it working? Let's see. Got my mic, audio. Anyway, it's working, but my mic's not working. So I'll just unplug my mic. Sorry about this, guys. It's so strange how this happens. And yeah, now I'll be able to share my screen. I just can't use this mic. Okay. Let me get my little small mic. That's... I think that's better than this little thing's better than my computer mic. Oh, but I can't see everybody who's here. So anyways, guessing it's Ganga Didi, Rukmanjari Didi, Madhavi Didi, Prajumna Prabhu, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani. Yeah, Dandava pranams to all of you. Okay, now is it good? All right, now I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so now we're beginning part 2, the Supreme Gift. A verse with deep secrets. This is chapter 3, I think. I think in this next edition they should give numbers for each chapter. So I'm going to suggest that. All right. At the end of Dwapar Yuga, after Sri Krishna's pastimes in this world were completed, he returned to his Goloka Vrindavan in the spiritual world. There he began to think of the pure devotion he wanted to distribute to this world, even to the trees and creepers. Only he would be able to give this. The religious principles for each age, the Yuga Dharma, can be given by Mahavishnu, who appeared in Kali Yuga as Shri Advaita Acharya, and this is his function. But Krishna Prem can only be given by Krishna himself. That very Shri Krishna who can give love and devotion to all entities took the mood reflection of Srimati Radhika and became Shri Gaurachandra. Why did he do this? It is because his mercy is unparalleled and causeless. As the ocean of ras, he wanted to taste the fulfillment of the 3 desires that he could not fulfill in his form as Krishna, and also to bestow that Krishna Prem which had not been distributed to the jivas since the previous day of Lord Brahma. Anarpita chirim chirat karunayavatina kalo samarpaitum unotto jala rasang svabhakti shriyam Haripurta Sundara Dyuti Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuruto Vasachinandana. May that Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Shachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, he has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation ever offered before. The most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. The meaning of this verse is profound. For the complete causeless mercy of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is within it. It is necessary to understand the essence of this verse and thus become very beautiful, qualified devotees. Without properly understanding its moods, chanting Hare Krishna will not be sufficient to receive the Lord's full mercy. The quality of our chanting will be enhanced by our thoroughly grasping and embracing its meaning. With a clear understanding of this verse and its mood, we can focus internally while chanting. Mayavadis also chant Hare Krishna, but they go to hell because of their great offenses to the holy name. Karmis also chant, but because of their desire to increase money, name, and fame, they are also cheated of the fruit of chanting. The holy name fulfills their material desires, but bhakti avoids them. On the other hand, those who chant under the guidance of highly qualified Guru or Vaishnava develop a superlative quality of chanting. Therefore, it is most important to understand the essence of the instructions hidden in this verse. The purpose of Lord Chaitanya's descent. We just put out a whole movie on this topic. The purpose of Lord Chaitanya's descent. 1 second. Okay, I have something in my throat, and so I'm just drinking some hot liquid. Okay. This should be made into a... We are now continuing our reading from Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. Now we are discussing the third chapter, which explains the identity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the reasons he came to this world. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj tells us that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shachinandan Gaur Hari is directly Sri Krishna himself. He is not only Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, but he is Swayam Bhagavan, meaning the original form of Godhead from whom all other incarnations emanate. He is Vrajendranandan Krishna himself. This Krishna is eternally situated with all his attributes and with his complete power personified in the form of Srimati Radhika. Even if the sun could be separated from its heat and light, Shri Radha Krishna can never be separated. Krishna sported in Vrindavan for 10 years. He took birth in Mahavan Gokul and played there for his first few years, and then both his family and Radhika's family moved to Vrindavan, where they enjoyed unlimited pastimes. There in Vrindavan, Nanda Baba's family stayed at Chatikara, and Vrishabhanu Maharaj stayed at Ral. Then they both moved to Kamyavan, then Kelavan, and finally Nanda Baba's family settled in Nandagaon, Gokul, and Vrishabhanu Maharaj's family in Varshana. Sometimes Varshana is spelled with a dot under it, sometimes it's not. In each dwelling place, their families made a new village, and their villages were always side by side. Shri Radha and Krishna met at these places and eternally performed their topmost pastime of Ras Lila, as well as other pastimes. When Krishna comes to this world from Goloka Vrindavan, the whole of Braj comes with him, his associates, the Yamuna River, Govardhan Hill, Bandiravan Forest, and the entire 84 kroshas, 168 square miles of Vrindavan, accompany him. He comes once in a day of Brahma in order to taste the 5 rasas of his pastimes, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Although he enjoys these rasas, he still has 3 unfulfilled desires, and the fulfillment of these desires is the essential reason for his appearance as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Also, because he is an ocean of causeless mercy and an ocean of ras, he wants to sprinkle drops of special mercy upon the jivas so that they will be able to come to him and serve him forever. Devotee reads from the introduction of Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila 4. In this chapter of the epic Caitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosvāmī has stressed that Lord Chaitanya appeared for 3 principal purposes of his own. The first purpose was to relish the position of Srimati Radharani, who is the prime reciprocator of transcendental love of Krishna, of Sri Krishna. Lord Krishna is the reservoir of transcendental loving transactions with Srimati Radharani. The subject of those loving transactions is the Lord himself, and Radharani is the object, the abode of love. Thus, the subject, the Lord, wanted to relish the loving mellow in the position of the object, Radharani. The second reason for his appearance was to understand the transcendental mellow of himself. Lord Krishna is all sweetness. Radharani's attraction for Krishna is sublime, and to experience that attraction and understand the transcendental sweetness of himself, he accepted the mentality of Radharani. The third reason that Lord Chaitanya appeared was to enjoy the bliss tasted by Radharani. The Lord, Sri Krishna, thought that undoubtedly Radharani enjoyed his company and he enjoyed the company of Radharani. But the exchange of transcendental mellow between the spiritual couple was more pleasing to Srimati Radharani than to Sri Krishna. Radharani felt more transcendental pleasure in the company of Krishna than he could understand without taking her position. But for Sri Krishna to enjoy in the position of Srimati Radharani was impossible, because that position was completely foreign to him.
Krishna is the transcendental male, and Srimati Radhika is the transcendental female. Therefore, to know the transcendental pleasure of loving Krishna, Lord Krishna himself appeared as Lord Caitanya, accepting the emotions and bodily luster of Srimati Radharani. Lord Chaitanya appeared to fulfill these confidential desires and also to preach the special significance of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and to answer the call of Advaita Prabhu. These were secondary reasons. Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami was the principal figure among Lord Chaitanya's confidential devotees. The records of his diary have revealed these confidential purposes of the Lord. These revelations have been confirmed by the statements of Srila Rupa Goswami in his various prayers and poems. This chapter also specifically describes the difference between lust and love. The transactions of Sri Krishna and Srimati Radhika are completely different from material lust. Therefore, the author has very clearly distinguished between them. Now back to my Gurudev. While Sri Krishna was considering how to fulfill his desires, the time came in Kali Yuga to preach the Yuga Dharma, the religious process of the age. At that time, Advaita Acharya came to prepare a platform for the descent of Krishna and his associates. Advaita Acharya wanted to give Vraj Prem, but he could not do so because this was not the function of Mahavishnu. In fact, there's not one word, right? Needs a space. In fact, this was not possible even for Ram, Nrsimha, Kalki, Vaman, and Parshuram. All of these avatars could establish the Yuga Dharma. But they could not give any living being what Swayam Bhagavan Brajendra Nandan Sri Krishna could give, pure Vraja Prem. Baladev Prabhu can give this Prem, but he leaves it for Krishna to distribute, and he assists. In the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Baladev came as Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu can also distribute that special Krishna Prem, that Madhurya Prem, directly and indirectly. But he waits for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are 4 reasons for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance: 2 external reasons and 2 internal. The primary internal reason was to taste the moods of Srimati Radhika, Prem Ras Niryas Korite Ashvadan. And the second internal reason was to satisfy Advaita Acharya, who, offering tulsi leaves, had called for Krishna to descend. The primary external reason for his appearance was to teach the fortunate jivas the path of Raganuga Bhakti, Rag Marg Bhakti Loke Korite Pracharan. And the secondary external reason was to establish the Yuga Dharma, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya. And there's no diacritics in this. Is there diacritics in this? Ashvadan. I think it's Ashvadan. Ashvadan. I think it's like that. Okay. And then this is Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya. Sorry guys. Okay. By his love, Advaita Acharya induced Krishna to come to this world. If a pure devotee takes the soft leaves of tulsi with a manjari in the middle and offers it to Sri Krishna while weeping and praying to him, Krishna will not be able to refuse that devotee. He will have to leave Goloka Vrindavan and at once come to him. To inspire Krishna to hear us, it is therefore necessary that we also worship tulsi daily, as Advaita Acharya has done. By this method, we can certainly please Krishna, even if we are unable to please him in any other way. By this method, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu and all their associates will enter our hearts. I need to get my Tulsi. I need to start worshipping Tulsi again. As mentioned above, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shachinandan Gaur Hari is Krishna himself, and Nityananda is Baladev Prabhu. Through Sankirtan, which is the Yuga Dharma, Mahaprabhu bestowed prema upon all types of living entities. In fact, even Krishna could not have induced the forest inhabitants to chant and dance as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did. Serpents, elephants, tigers, she-goats, everyone became inspired by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu sang, Krishna, 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 He. Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Krishna, 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 Pahimam. Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rakshamam. Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Pahimam. I think not take. Italics. Okay, sorry. Weeping and sometimes rolling on the ground as he sang, Mahaprabhu was not in his external consciousness. Overwhelmed, all the animals, creepers, and trees began to chant along with him. After receiving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, they all developed intense affection for Krishna. When Krishna came to this world, he was also merciful, but he gave Krishna prema according to the quality of the devotee's surrender and devotional practice, not less, not more, like a scale. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tang sataiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. It's Bhagavad Gita 4:11. Oops. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. Consider the analogy of a pot, which represents our qualification for Krishna prema. When Sri Krishna was present, he never gave a pot to anyone. Rather, he said, Oh, bring your pot. According to the type and size of your pot, I will give you that much prema. Without our qualification, Krishna will not give us prema. For example, if we have committed many offenses, he will not give us prema. On the other hand, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving the pot and the prema. He and Nityananda Prabhu are so merciful. They have no scale at all. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shachinandan Gaur Hari, is the son of Shachi Devi, who is so magnanimous that whoever comes to him, he is so magnanimous that whoever comes to him receives his mercy. Without a scale, he says, Come on, do you have a pot? No, I have no pot, no qualification. Oh, all right then, I will give you the pot and also this nectar, Krishna Prema. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave prema lavishly, but this is only one of the external reasons for his appearance. The internal cause for Krishna's descent as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was to relish the three moods of Srimati Radhika, which only she can taste. He borrowed her intrinsic mood and beauty and became tadatma, meaning one in heart with her. To further understand the meaning of tadatma, let us understand this analogy. When iron is placed in fire, it can burn. Iron does not burn. Only fire has this power. But when placed in fire, the iron becomes one in quality with it and can also burn. Likewise, Sri Krishna became tadatma with Srimati Radhika and forgot that he is Krishna. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Rai Ramananda at Godavari, he learned Rasa Tattva from him. Rai Ramananda is Vishaka, Srimati Radhika's dearmost friend, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna. Krishna, in the form of Sri Chaitanya, made Srimati Vishaka Devi his guru in order to assist him in fully developing. Let me reread that. He made Srimati Vishaka Devi his guru in order to assist him fully to develop the mood of Radhika. Then Krishna, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, manifested his form as Mahabhav Rasaraj Sarup. Without accepting Vishaka as his guru, this would have not been possible. After meeting with Rai Ramananda, Mahaprabhu returns to the Gambhira at Jagannath Puri, where he was able to fulfill his desire to taste the three moods of Srimati Radhika. He is therefore very grateful to Vishaka and also to Lalita, who appeared in this world as Sri Sarup Damodar. Without their help, he cannot taste these three moods of Radhika. His brilliant, unparalleled donation. Let me just check, make sure everything is working. Looks like I'm having connection problems though. It says network connection 0 out of 10. Anyhow, I guess the internet's not so good, huh? Sorry about that. Is it a lot of pauses, Rup Manjari Didi? And Dandavat Pranams Mani Manjari Didi. And Savitri Didi. Hare Krishna. Yeah, what to do? If it ever gets really bad, send me a WhatsApp message, because then I get sounds and notification. His brilliant, unparalleled donation. Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, he can distribute Vraj Prem, and especially Parakiya Bhav, paramour love, which is also called Unata Ujjvala Ras. Unata means highest, and Ujjvala means brilliantly shining. And the Ras refers to the taste of a specific relationship with Krishna. The brilliance of Unata Ujjvala Ras is unparalleled, and it is this love that all of our acharyas in the Gaudiya Sampradaya have come to this world to teach. Our acharyas did not come to taste what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to taste, but to give the same ras which he came to distribute. The distribution of Unata Ujjvala Ras is the main reason for his advent, but not the foremost, supreme reason. It is the primary external reason. As mentioned above, the primary internal reason was to taste Radha's mood, and the second was to answer the call of Advaita Acharya. Mahaprabhu wanted to distribute that prem upon the jivas, which is rare even for Brahma, Shankar, Shiva, and Narad. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, which can only be accomplished by the power of Krishna in the form of Mahaprabhu. Similarly, all our acharyas like Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Krishnadas Kaviraj, Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, Shyamananda Prabhu, Nartham Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Baladevi Vibhushan, Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, and Srila Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja did not come only to preach the glories of chanting the holy name, for this can be given by the associates of Mahavishnu. The expansions or manifestations of Mahavishnu, like Advaita Acharya, can preach and distribute the holy name, but they cannot preach Vraj Prem through Nam Prem Sankirtan. There is a vast difference between the Nam Sankirtan of this Kali Yuga and that of other Kali Yugas. This is a speciality of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who came along with his followers and associates. Incarnations of Mahavishnu, like Advaita Acharya and his associates, like Sanak, Sanandan, Sanatan, Sanat Kumar, Vishvaksena, and others, can perform and establish Nam Sankirtan and the Yuga Dharma. But that Nam Sankirtan will not give with Krishna Prem, but that Nam Sankirtan will not give Krishna Prem or Vraj Prem. Should it be and the Yuga Dharma? It should be the Yuga Dharma. Wait 1 second. One second, let me just write a note. Okay. The Nam Sankirtan the Nam Sankirtan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates has a special power that can give this Vraj Prem. Unata Ojjvala Rasa is a special mood of Srimati Radhika, which can be tasted by Krishna as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but cannot be distributed. What did Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu give? He did give Unata Ojjvala Ras, but Unata Ojjvala Ras is of two kinds: Kamatmika, which he relished, and Tathad Bhavechatmika, which he distributed. Okay, so Unata Ujjvala Rasa is divided into two categories: Kamatmika and Tathad Bhavechatmika. Kamatmika is the mood of Srimati Radhika, Lalita, Vishaka, and the rest of the 8 principal gopis, and the other gopis like them. Srimati Radhika has 5 kinds of sakis, gopi friends. That is Saki, Nitya Saki, Pran Saki, Priya Saki, and Priya Narma Saki. Priya Narma Sakis are also known as Parama Prishta Sakis. And there's a footnote here. It is said that the gopis are divided into 5 groups, namely the Sakis, Nitya Sakis, Pran Sakis, Priya Sakis, and Parama Prishta Sakis. All these fair-complexioned associates of Srimati Radharani, the Queen of Vrindavan Dham, are expert artists in evoking erotic sentiments in Krishna. The Parama Prishta Sakis are 8 in number, and in the ecstatic dealings of Krishna and Radha, they side sometimes with Krishna and at other times with Radharani, just to create a situation in which it appears that they favor one against the other. That makes the exchange of mellows more palatable. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 4217. Okay, so now my Gurudev is going to explain these 5 categories. Sakis. Right here, it's not plural, but then here it is plural, so I think it should be consistent. Let's move the S. Saki. The Nishta is an example. These Sakis love and serve Srimati Radhika and Krishna, but they are slightly more inclined toward Krishna. Nitya Sakis and 3 Pran Sakis. These are the only 2 kinds of Sakis who are in the category of Tathad Bhavechatmika. It is their service that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ultimately came to bestow upon the Jivas. These Sakis serve both Shri Radha and Krishna with a propensity to favor Srimati Radhika and to render service to her. If Krishna calls him, they do not come to him. They obey only her. The Pran Sakis like Rup Manjari and Rati Manjari, being even more intimately connected with her, are naturally the leaders of the Nitya Sakis. Then Priya Sakis and Priya Narma Sakis. Lalita and Vishaka. Oops, wait, I'm supposed to remove all these. Okay, Priya Saki and Priya Narma Saki. Lalita and Vishaka are examples. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. So Priya Sakis, Lalita and Vishaka are examples of Priya Sakis and Priya Narma Sakis. Among these 2 types of Sakis, the Priya Narma Sakis are most dear. Both types of Sakis serve the divine couple, Shishi, Radha, and Krishna, a slight tend toward Srimati Radhika. But they do not lean solely toward her. They have so much power that they can sometimes chastise Radhika and at other times chastise Krishna. The difference between the Nitya and Pransakis the difference between the Nitya and Pransakis and the Priya and Priyanarma Sakis is that the Nitya Sakis and Pransakis are Manjaris. They do not do anything for their own personal relationship with Krishna. They do everything for Srimati Radhika. They have no desire to taste Krishna's association for themselves. This bhav, or mood, which is called Tattad Bhave Chatnika, is also Unata Ujjala Ras. And it is this type of Unata Ujjala Ras that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to distribute. This is a very elevated topic. One may wonder why I'm speaking about this topic, since only a few rare persons can truly embrace its essence. The answer is given in the above-mentioned verse, where it is implied that in order to perform sadhana, we must first be clear about our objective. For example, if we want money, we may have to serve the government, get a job, or do business. But if we do not do business, we may resort to stealing, or we may get a group of dacoits and forcefully attack others with swords. Sri Krishna attacked Bhishmaka's kingdom, where hundreds of thousands of kings and their armies waited in full force to protect Rukmini from Krishna. However, despite the efforts of those kings, Sri Krishna, like a lion entering a group of jackals, took Rukmini on his chariot and rode to Dwarka, where he married her. As mentioned above, if someone's goal is to accumulate money, and if by begging he does not get it honestly, he may get it by hook or by crook. A dog standing outside a sweet shop will drool as he watches people eat rasgulla and rasmalai. I think it's rasmalai. Nice. He will not enter the shop, which the owner guards with a stick, but runs to lick the leaf cups that have been thrown away. And while he is licking the cups, he'll try to guard them from any other dog in the vicinity. Similarly, in spiritual life, our objectives should be fixed first, and then we can decide how to achieve that objective. The practice to attain the goal is called sadhana, and the goal itself is called sadhya. Without knowledge of one's sadhya, one cannot determine his sadhana. This is why Krishnadas Kaviraj presents the sadhya in the first verse after the Mangalacharan verses of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila 1.4. If your objective is to accept what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give, that Unata Ujjala Prem, Vraja Prem, then come with me to the school of Srila Rupa Gosvāmī, read all the Goswami's literature, and learn how to develop greed for this. There are no rules and regulations for how this eagerness will come. It can manifest by associating with and hearing from a bona fide Vaishnava. It will not awaken by shastric argument alone. A very ordinary, ugly, deformed, poor man may see a princess and may have some greed to make her his wife. Although the idea of having her as his wife is absurd, there is no wealth or other qualification required to have the greed for such a marriage. Similarly, spiritual greed cannot be controlled. It is acquired by hearing about the beauty of Sri Krishna and the affection of the gopis for him, as described by the literatures of the Goswamis headed by Srila Rupa Goswami, and also by hearing Śrīmad Bhagavatam and the Caitanya Charitamrita. Such literatures also describe how Krishna was controlled by the gopis, and especially by Srimati Radhika. They describe how he places his head at Radhika's lotus feet, begging for her mercy. By hearing the topics of Caitanya Charitamrita and the books of Srila Rupa Goswami from a pure devotee, greed may come, whether or not one is otherwise qualified for it, whether or not one is a pure devotee. Sorry, I read that strangely, but you get it, right? That greed will come even if somebody is not qualified for it and is not a pure devotee. And when greed comes, one becomes qualified to choose his means of practice, his sadhana. He immediately achieves ruchi, a natural taste for hearing, chanting, remembering, etc., and thus gallops towards his goal. Those who practice sadhana bhajan of Krishna out of fear of going to hell are practicing what is called Vaidhi Bhakti. Such persons have the propensity to perform Vaidhi Bhakti. Practicing because greed has arisen in the heart is called Raganuga Bhakti. There is a difference between Ragatmika, which is the mood of the gopis themselves, and Raganuga devotees, those who are performing bhajan with a greed to attain that mood. There's a footnote here. This is Srila Prabhupada. The original inhabitants of Vrindavan are attached to Krishna spontaneously in devotional service. Nothing can compare to such spontaneous devotional service, which is called Ragatmika Bhakti. When a devotee follows in the footsteps of the devotees of Vrindavan, his devotional service is called Raganuga Bhakti. It's from Madhya Lila 22:149. Those in this world who are at the advanced stage of asakti, attachment for Krishna, and who are just reaching the stage of bhav, are Raganuga. Those devotees who have not yet reached this stage, but who are developing some greed, some Raganuga pravritti, will soon become qualified to practice Raganuga Bhakti. They are not practicing Raganuga yet, but they are approaching it. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came only to bestow this greed to those who already have greed. He came to give them bhav, and to those who have bhav, he came to give them prem. What kind of prem does he give? Not Srimati Radha's mood of Unata Ujjvala Kamatmika Bhav, but the mood of Unata Ujjvala Tattad Bhavi Chatmika. Although this is a difficult subject to understand, it is essential for us to try to understand it. After 10 or 20 years, or in a future life, in the association of elevated, Unata Vaishnavas, we will be able to realize something of it. A sincere, aspiring devotee tries to develop this greed. He prays, I am not a Raganuga Vaishnava, but I beg that in this life, or if I am not qualified, then in 1,000 lives from now, that I may receive the mercy to become a Raganuga Vaishnava. I want nothing other than this, nothing else. I do not mind dying, but I do mind taking water from anywhere other than Keshi Ghat or Manasi Ganga Ghat. Or any ghats, bathing places of the Tattad Bhave Chatmika gopis. Bathing places? Nah. I'll change it to something else. Now I will explain the original verse under discussion. Anarpita chirim chirat karunaya vatirna kalo samarpaitum unato jula rasam sabhakti shriyam hari purita sundara duti kadamba sandipitaha sada hridaya kandare spurito va sachinandana. May that Lord who is known as the son of Srimati Shachidevi be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart, resplendent with the radiance of molten gold. He has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation ever offered before, the most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. One second, just checking again. Okay, it's been fine for a while. That's good. Hare Krishna, Vipul. Okay. This verse is from the Mangalacharan of Srila Rupa Goswami's Vidagdha Madhav. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inspired Rupa Goswami in Prayag to fulfill his desire to distribute Unata Ujjvala Parakiya Bhav, and along with this, to distribute knowledge to the jivas about what he tasted. This bhav is unparalleled, even in Goloka Vrindavan, what to speak of this world. This prem is the eternal religion, the nitya dharma of all fortunate living entities, not just those in human bodies. One second. If a husband who has affection for his wife sees that his wife has affection for another man, he'll be upset. Similarly, if the wife knows that her husband internally loves someone else, she will be upset. Either way, their entire life together will be disturbed. We see the relationship of husband and wife, lover and beloved, not only in humans, but in creatures, creepers, and trees. Without this loving relationship, one cannot live. Trees and creepers also have this affection, but they do not express it. Humans can express it to a certain extent. The perverted reflection of prema, pure spiritual love, is a desire to satisfy the body, and this is called kam, lust. Because lust is not pure, it causes pain, suffering, and problems. In this world, it is seen that a man cannot fully satisfy a woman, and vice versa. After some time, he or she will become dissatisfied and may look for someone else. We are refugees here in this material world. Because of lust, we are imprisoned here, seeking satisfaction in a wife, husband, children, mother, father, friends, and worldly objects. And Krishna arranges for us to taste the result of such material attachment. Satisfaction is only possible when one has affection for Krishna. Otherwise, no one can be satisfied. When Lord Ram and his own Srimati Sita Devi came to this world, they both played a role and taught us worldly jivas the result of lust. They taught us that lust is a very bad thing. When Ram, Sita, and Lakshman were in the jungle, the demon Maricha came in the form of a golden deer. Sita saw the deer and told Ram, "I want this deer, if you can catch it alive, or you can shoot it and bring its skin." Lakshman warned Ram not to follow the deer. "He is actually a demon, not a deer," Lakshman told Ram. "That demon will cause you many problems. Don't go. It is better to disobey your wife." Although Ram is the Supreme Lord Krishna himself and is therefore not controlled by Maya, he showed the conditioned jivas what happens when a man comes under the control of a woman's material desires. The result is problems. Ram replied to Lakshman, "I must carry out the order of my wife, even if the deer is a demon." Ram went after the deer, and as a result, he had to leave Sita twice. Finally, he had to leave her forever, due to others doubting her purity after she had spent some days with Ravan. She was pure, but because others doubted her chastity, Ram felt he needed to consider the mood of those citizens and abandon her. He sent her into the forest and then lamented deeply. Ram lived in a royal palace, and Sita lived in the forest in the ashram of Valmiki, sleeping on a grass mat and cutting wood for cooking. Ram repented. "I have sent Sita to the jungle, so I will also live as a renunciate and not taste any material comforts." He stayed alone in his palace, sleeping on a mat on the floor. Sita slept easily, but Ram could not. He always wept, "Oh Sita, oh Sita, oh Sita. I have made a mistake by trying to satisfy my subjects." Sita was consoled by Valmiki, but there was no one to console Ram, no one to wipe away his tears. He wept constantly, and no one knows the heart of and one who knows the heart of Ram will also weep bitterly. Once Ram performed a Rajasuya Yagya, a sacrifice, on the bank of the river Gomati, near Naimisharanya. All his subjects, including his mothers, brothers, monkeys, Hanuman and Sugriv, and Vibhishan, assembled there. The yagya was conducted from early morning to 10 o'clock, after which everyone assembled to hear narrations from the Puranas. One day, the twin sons of Ram and Sita, Lava and Kush, arrived in the assembly. They were about 9 years old, and, closely resembling Ram himself, they were very beautiful. No one knew who they were or from where they had come. Playing on Venas, they began to recite the Ramayana, which they had heard in the ashram of Valmiki. They sang in a melodious tune, as with a veena. As with a veena? I don't think that makes sense, right? Okay. They sang in a melodious tune, as with a veena, wherein high sounds tremble down to low ones in a rag suitable for spiritual lamentation, Karuna Ras. Their singing was so sweet that all those present were stunned in silence. They sang about the pastimes in which Sita, Ram, and Lakshman, in the dress of renunciates, left Ayodhya for the forest under the order of Kaikeyi, at which time King Dasharath lamented, "Alas, Ram! Alas, Ram!" and immediately left the world. As Lav and Kush sang, Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Kaikeyi, Hanuman, Sugriva, and the entire audience were captivated and wept bitterly. They felt that if the pastime was taking place right there, they felt as if there needs to be an as here. They felt as if the pastime was taking place right before their eyes. As the day drew to a close, Ram sent Lakshman to give Lav and Kush a donation of a pot of gold coins, fine silken cloth, and golden ornaments. Lakshman descended from his throne and asked them, "My dear boys, please tell me your father's name and where you are from. Lord Ram wants to know your identity." The boys were silent at first, and then said, "You know the Vedas. You are a learned person, so you must know that it is not proper etiquette to inquire from a brahmachari or sannyasi about his father and mother, wife, daughters, or sons. You don't know this etiquette? We are two brahmacharis. You may therefore inquire about the name of our Gurudev, or the whereabouts of our ashram, or request us to speak Harikatha. We are disciples of Valmiki. We have come from his ashram, and we have learned these songs from him." Lakshman became speechless, ashamed that he had asked this question. He thought, yes, what they are saying is correct. One should not say to a brahmachari or sannyasi, "Oh, Mahārāja, you are still married. Your wife and sons are still there." He then requested him, "Please accept this golden pot containing jewels and golden ornaments." The boys replied, "We are simple brahmacharis. What use do we have for such opulent gifts? We eat fruit, and without the use of a vessel, we drink water from our hands. Please return these gifts to Ram, who is a king and has use for them." Lav and Kush then returned to their mother, who had been anxiously waiting for them. Taking the boys in her arms, one in her left arm and the other in her right, she caressed them and asked, "Oh, sons, why have you come home so late today?" "Today, mother, we went far away to the assembly of a king." The boys did not know the king's name. "There we sang the pastimes of Sita and Ram. We don't know why, but everyone present was weeping, the king himself, his brother, and even the monkeys. And while there, we saw something very unusual. There was a golden statue that looked exactly like you, with the same face and same beauty. But whereas you speak, this statue did not." Sita began to weep bitterly. The boys asked her, "Mother, why are you weeping?" But she could not explain to them Ram's banishment of her. Banishment of her. I think that's okay, right? The next day, Ram said to Valmiki, "I know that Sita is staying in your ashram. Please bring her to Ayodhya immediately. I cannot live without her." The following day, Sita arrived in Ayodhya with Lava and Kush, holding her hands. Looking down at the ground as she walked, she followed Valmiki and silently entered Ram's kingdom, wondering what was going to happen. Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman, Kaushalya, and others eagerly gazed at the sight of Sita returning to Ayodhya. The Lord's associates now assumes that the two boys must be the sons of Ram. Because they were so beautiful, they could not possibly be the sons of any other. Ram approached Sita and said, "Please show me proof that you are pure, that you have never been touched by Ravan." Sita responded in a mild voice with honor for Ram, "Do you not accept the proof of my purity from Dashrath Mahārāja and Agnidev? I will now give you proof." She then prayed, O Prithvi, earth personified, oops, sorry, one second. O Prithvi, you are my mother. If I am pure, if I have never known anyone except Ram, if my heart has never touched anyone else, even for a moment, then please open and take me in your lap. She said this 3 times. Then at once, with a great sound, the earth divided in 2, and a beautiful golden chariot appeared. Prithvi Devi took Sita on her lap, and the earth closed. Ram immediately jumped up, crying, "Oh Sita, Sita, Sita! You have left me! Oh mother-in-law Prithvi Devi, return my Sita, or I will shoot you and break you into pieces. I want to see Sita at once." Valmiki approached Ram and said, "Ram, do not be so distressed. Go to Sita. She is waiting for you in your abode." In this way, Ram is showing the world the results of lust. Do not do as I have done. Otherwise, there may be so many problems. In order to be happy, try to attain pure love for Krishna. Material love is an endeavor to gratify selfish desires, whereas pure Krishna prema is the opposite, free from the slightest taint of any selfishness. In order to reveal to the jivas their eternal natural dharma, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended to this world. This world is like a school. Let us not waste this good opportunity to practice bhakti yoga in the association of pure devotees who are free from politics, hypocrisy, duplicity, and diplomacy. It is essential to understand that Vraja Prema is our eternal dharma, and in order to be happy forever, we will have to achieve it. We must not allow lust to create a disturbance in our life. If one is married, that is all right. There is no harm in that, as long as the husband treats his wife as one who is dear to Krishna, serving her with love and affection, but reserving his real inner affection for Krishna. This world is a training center. We must not become entangled in it. Otherwise, we will have endless problems. One may perform one's duty, maintaining one's family members, but wealth is also not detrimental if it is utilized properly. Our family is not meant to fulfill our lust. While serving our family, we must practice bhakti, and thus make this world like Vaikuntha, the Lord's spiritual abode. All right, that's our reading for today. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Today's reading was a bit longer. We read 5,600 something words, but tomorrow and the day after and the day after, the next 3 days will be short readings. And then how many days are we reading? Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it'll be like 8 more days until we're finished. All right, Dandavat Pranam to everybody, and then we'll start Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju ki Jai, Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudev ki jai. Nityalapa Vishnu Vishnupāda Ashtatarashata Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nityalapa Vishnu Vishnupāda Ashtatarashata Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Swāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. Nityalapa Vishnu Vishnupāda Ashtatarashata Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nityalapa Vishnu Vishnupāda Ashtatarashata Śrīmad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupāda ki jai. Nityalapa Vishnu Mahabhagavat Śrīla Gopishwaras Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Nityalapa Vishnu Shiva Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nityalapa Vishnu Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Shri Rupa Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Ji Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shrar Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सार्व अभिष्ट विराट गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्यामा कुंड की जय। श्री मनु देवी गण देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी उपमाय की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रीनिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि ओम। वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवाश्च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रददेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Dandava pranam everybody. So you can see this is where we are in the book. We're getting close to the halfway point. And all right, see you all tomorrow. Sorry, today, sometimes I have good reading days, sometimes I have bad reading days. I think today was a bad reading day. Like, I couldn't read smoothly. I kept on stuttering and messing up. But anyhow, what to do? All right, Hari Bol, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. See you all tomorrow.